Namaste, I'm Shivaswati, and this video is to debuff the popular myth that you do not have to live a human life for 1,000 years after you die as a human being. That is not true. It is a misguided interpretation. The correct interpretation is that you have a human birth and an animal birth after you die. So, unless you become a god after you die and you get salvation and you go to higher realms, then you will not have an animal birth or a human birth. But if you have an animal birth, you will simultaneously also have a human birth. And this is proven by the fact that human population has multiplied more than 100 times in the last 10,000 years. There were around a few thousand people initially, and now we have a population of 7.78 billion, which means that each soul has split horizontally into several paths instead of growing vertically. So there are giant footprints found in the primeval times, which shows that human beings are much larger initially, but over time, with the development of the mind, the physical size has become smaller and the people have become more and more emotionally complex. So whenever you die, you will have a human rebirth to pay back your emotional karma. The pain that you gave to others, you will have to suffer and pay it back. The anxiety that you gave to others, you will have to suffer and pay it back till you reach a level where your suffering stops through meditation and through trying to evolve to a higher consciousness. And when you reach that level of contentment, you can help other people overcome their anxiety, and that is where karma is repaid. So till you are suffering, your karma is not repaid. But once you are at a level where your suffering reduces and your desire to help others increases, that is where karma is repaid. And when you help others, you are paid back for it monetarily, such that you can survive yourself. It is never that you have to pay back at the cost of other people, or that your family has to look after you, unless the family has karma and the family has to look after you helping others because the family has to pay back. But normally, if you have karma where you have to help several people, you will get a profession, like you will want to become a businessman, or you will be a teacher, or you will be a saint, so that you are paid while helping others. So as a saint also, you will stay in an ashram where your needs will be looked after while you are helping others. There are cases where you may have to stay in your own family and help others, where your family supports you, but that is where the family wants to pay back karma, and it has karma towards several people. For example, there were landlords and they may have burnt villages, and so in that case, your family may support you while you are paying back karma to other people, and you may face financial problems. But if your financial karma is clear, then you can move on to a big businessman, becoming a big businessman, or having a large school, or maybe being an actor. Any karma where you are helping a lot of people feel better. But always remember that karma is repaid when people actually feel positive after participating in your work. And technology advances and spirituality also advances amongst people. Till people go on suffering and feeling jealous of you, or feeling that you have much more than them, or that they are feeling exploited by you, till then your karma is not paid. Your karma will be paid when people understand that you are helping them by your existence, and your suffering will reduce such that your desire to help is much more than your suffering. So your focus will remain on positivity, and that you have to help others even if you are suffering yourself. Then your karma is on the path of repayment, and your karma will get repaid by helping others. So there are two paths of karma repayment. One is that you suffer yourself, and the second is that you are helping others. So as an animal, when you are reborn, you suffer yourself. For example, if you are a murderer, you may be reborn as chicken and you are cut again and again. So the number of times you are cut and eaten as chicken is the number of times you have killed another person and cut that person up. So if you have killed 5 people, you may be reborn as a chicken 5 times and you may be killed. So that is payback of the physical karma. But the emotional karma which you incurred by killing a person, that his family suffered, and his boss suffered, his work suffered, so that emotional karma will be paid back by you being reborn as a human being and suffering. So your employees may go on strike, the people whom you are living with may not be responsible, and you may have to pay for everyone. You may have to take much more responsibility than is your due, because you have prevented another person from taking his responsibility. So you have extra responsibility on you. So this is how human emotional karma is repaid. So karma is usually divided into stages, and it is never sufficient to be just reborn as an animal to repay your karma, because human consciousness is emotional consciousness. So you have to pay back emotionally, plus you pay back physically. So usually people get divided into 5 or 6 parts sometimes. So one part is an animal when it is reborn, one part is human being when it is reborn. Now, so this human being can have 2 options. One part can go into a parallel life, where the soul is like a filter, and there are several bottles filling from it. You will see the diagram in my book, In Search of Happiness. Several bottles filling from a lake. The soul is like the lake. So you have other parts of you exist at the same time as you. So while you are being alive in one body, there are at least 5 or 6 you alive in other bodies, in other professions. So when you die, you can join one of them who is younger than you or older than you, who is in the same frequency as you. That is joining a parallel life. So if you die at 80 years old, you can join a 60-year-old part of you, someone who is you in a 60-year-old body. You have 20 more years to live and repay your karma in that life. Another part of you can be at the same time reborn as a small child. That is your childhood self. It will be reborn as a childhood part and relive your childhood experiences in a better manner, in an emotionally more evolved manner, so that over time your peace increases. So if you notice, over time human society has become more peaceful. Earlier there were wars and people were killed by swords and people were hanged on the streets. But now capital punishment is almost over. People do not like wars. People speak against wars. People are trying not to hit their children. Human society is evolving wherever emotional development is given a higher priority over technological development, because we have a lot of technological development now, but now emotional development is required. Because you see, people are as unhappy as they were at the time of Ramayana, 10,000 years ago. In fact, they were happier there and they are unhappier now. So happiness also has to evolve, not just the machines. The machines are there to give you physical comfort, but you also need to know how to handle arguments, how to understand different perspectives, how to not take revenge and agree with each other, how to stay with your neighbors with growing business than with fighting wars. You are no longer in primitive times that you need to conquer the neighbors or you need to destroy them so that you grow and they suffer. Now everyone is connected. Internet is connecting all. Their suffering reaches us, our suffering reaches them. If the breath is connected, it has been scientifically established that everyone's breathing is connected, and the unhappiness which is felt in slums reaches the houses of the rich people, and they become unhappy. Without any reason they become unhappy, because this unhappiness travels. So breath is connected, consciousness is connected, and people are realizing now that it's all connected, and you cannot be singularly happy with making others unhappy, because that unhappiness will reach you and create problems in your life which never existed, which you don't know why they are coming, because it is coming through consciousness traveling. Plus it comes through past lives. Past lives are a very big reason for problems coming in your life, because karma has to be repaid. So if you are a very popular film star in one life, in the next life you may be born disabled, because you are so exhausted working for others. You don't want to work for anyone. You just want to be fed, and you want to sit in one place where others are feeding you. Now you don't like being in a disabled body, but this is how you receive back karma. So that is what happens, that when you have to observe others acting and you can no longer be an actor. So that is a payback to humanity of karma. So that is how you get, in each life you are suffering. You feel, the others are, so much better than you are. But it is not so. You are actually paying back karma. So I do past life therapy and I get clients all the time who are paying back karma, and they are in a much, much better position than they were ever earlier. I've had women who are from normal families and single child, and they have a good upbringing, everything comfortable, but there is so much anxiety because in a past life someone was a witch and she had fleeced a lot of people, and or in a past life someone was a warrior and she had killed a lot of people. So that anxiety comes from past lives, but and they have suffered over lifetimes. For example, I had a case where this girl had a lot of anxiety in her, and without reason she felt molested. There was no incident of incest in her life even then, and then she saw a life where she was raped throughout her life as a street child. Then she saw a life where she was forced into prostitution, kidnapped as a child and forced into prostitution before that. And later on she became the head of prostitutes and she kidnapped other girls and forced them into prostitution. Before that she saw a life where she was a queen and she did black magic to conquer other people, conquer men. She was a queen of a woman's tribe and she used black magic and she put spiders on men to put them in her control. This was in BC. So before Christ, and it was very long back. So even now she felt that unnecessarily attacked by men, or that they were trying to manipulate her or plot on her, because that suffering was coming from the suffering she had given. So you suffer over lifetimes for one successful life, and you keep suffering till you actually evolve your consciousness through meditation and through realizing that suffering will not answer your problems. You will have to be positive by choice. Like you have to reduce your weight by choice, however much you can. If you can't, you have to accept your weight as it is. But you don't have a choice to become overweight, obese and be happy. Similarly, you don't have a choice to become negative and be happy. If you allow yourself to become negative, negativity will pull you because it is gravitational. So you have to make an attempt to be positive through meditation, through looking upwards. Because if you look here with force, you will not have any thoughts. When you don't have any thoughts, you learn detachment. When you learn detachment, then you can learn positivity. If you are negative, you need to go through a zero state before you become positive. So these are scientific concepts, and in past life therapy, you actually experience them. And you get a lot of answers which may appear shocking to you in the first session, but it also offers a lot of relief. Some people get salvation in 5 sessions of past life therapy if they are ready for it. Some people need more sessions, some people need less sessions, but it always gives them relief. And for the time that they are in session, they do not have anxiety. They can rise above anxiety, and then they have to train their mind over time, like exercise, like physical exercise, to not be negative. It is like, to be positive is like going uphill. It takes a lot of effort. So similarly, to not be an animal means going uphill. It takes a lot of effort to not lower your consciousness. And if you still allow your consciousness to lower, you will definitely have an animal rebirth, but you will also have a human rebirth. Unless you get salvation and then you go into God realms. So then you don't need to take a rebirth. You can pass on remaining lessons to other souls who want to come back to earth. There are souls who go to the spirit world and they just stay there. They never come back on earth, because if you come back on earth, you will have an animal plus a human rebirth, and in the human rebirth you will have to pay back the sins. And of course, to reach up, you already have paid back, only then you reach up heaven. But if you come again, you again have to continue paying back till you evolve your consciousness to a level of detachment and then saintlyhood. And then the payment stops, and then you become God, and then you start helping a lot of people. So in a way, the payment always continues, because initially you are suffering to pay back karma, and then you are helping a lot of people, and you are still involved in paying back karma. So it is a choice to be positive, but you never have only an animal rebirth. You will always have a human rebirth with an animal rebirth or a fish rebirth or a snail rebirth. You may be reborn as all these animals, but you will have a human rebirth till humanity exists. Once humanity is gone, then of course you will have animal rebirths till a new species come in its place. And we don't know which animals will survive, which animals will get lost, and several human beings may go to other planets, other dimensions. So then you will have rebirths there, and you will have animal rebirths, and then you will have alien rebirths. So that process of evolution of course will continue. And after the mammal species, it is the bird species which is coming. So human beings will be able to fly in the next species after a billion years. And there are some children who are even now born with wings like birds. So evolution continues, and karma repayment always continues. Till you have karma, you are alive. If you don't have any karma, if you don't have any loans, you will die. So till you have loans to receive or give, you will live. But if you have no loans, no karma, you will simply die, because you are allowed to stay on earth only if you have karma. Unless you are an animal, and then you have survival struggles. You are alive till you have survival struggles. Once your survival struggles are over, you die. So you come on earth to learn soul lessons, to struggle and evolve. This is the aim of this planet. It's like a school, and you have to repay back karma. There is no escape. There is no saying that, I can kill so many people and then I will be born as a dog and I can just suffer and die, I won't feel anything. It is not so. If you kill so many people, you will face the emotional pain of being emotionally killed. You will face betrayal. You will face people not working with justice with you. You will face people arguing with you. There will be fights all your life till you become saintly and you learn to forgive. Plus, you will be born as a chicken and you will be killed again and again. So, karma has to be repaid in animal and human bodies. Thank you.